Hey everybody, welcome to another Driven Hunter podcast brought to you by Mission Crossbows. Today we are in probably one of the coolest, most beautiful places in the world. This is our second podcast that we've done up here in the NWT at Canol Outfitters. Today we're joined with our good friend and our guide that put up with us for the last couple weeks, Mr. Cole Schneider. Welcome, buddy.
Thank you.
We had a heck of a hunt, didn't we?
Oh, we worked pretty hard.
Yeah, and we thought we'd kind of do a post-hunt interview today just so we could bring you some of the highlights that normally it takes a year to get on the air, and this way we can kind of give you some, sneak peeks of what happened at our hunt here. We had like I said, it was a fun week. Nicole isn't here because she had to head home a couple days early because Cashton was starting his first day of school. So she hunted the first part of the hunt, and then she boogied out of here, and then we got the harder part of the hunt, didn't we?
Definitely the harder part. We weren't killing them right by camp.
No.
That's for sure.
I'm going to tell you right now, my legs are like aching.
Oh,
I mean,
my body's pretty smoked after that.
Yeah, we did a lot of climbing this last week for sheep. Unfortunately, my ram is not sitting here. This is not my ram if you're watching the video version. And if you're not watching the video version, you need to tune in on YouTube. It's pretty cool just to see the scenery and see the B-roll that we got. So if you're listening to the audio version, check out the video version of it. But yeah, the hunt started. We flew up here the end of August, and now, what day is it? I've already lost my days here.
I have no idea. Day 10?
Yeah.
It's the 6th today?
Yeah, it's the 6th of September. We're on the 10th day of our hunt. And when we got here, of course, Nicole was with. And the first day we actually went on a little sheep expedition. We went up and we walked about six miles from camp
Yeah,
here.
right about that.
We walked up a drainage, actually from base camp, and did not take the helicopter. And we're chasing a ram that we have some history with. He was a big ram. The last 2 years, I passed him up 2 years ago because he was young, and Glenda really wanted me to not shoot him. And then I shot a really nice ram towards the end with Adam, and it all came together. I actually came back twice to do that.
Yeah, you got a lot of history with this sheep.
Right.
Oh.
And then last year, it was Nicole's turn to sheep hunt.
Yeah.
And she ended up shooting a really nice old ram.
Very similar to this one.
Yeah. Just a cranker. He was a really dark sheep. He had a lot of gray on him. I mean, some people consider it a fannin.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's
almost a stone.
He's like blue.
Yeah, he was beautiful.
Looks like a roan.
But the sheep with him was the sheep that I passed up the first year. And then last year, he just was a smoker and cranked all the way around and tipped out. And I'm like, Glenda, if I can hunt that ram next year, I'll come back. And she's like, deal. So that's why we're here. And
yeah, definitely worth chasing.
Yeah, we hunted up there in that same area. And it was a lot of work. And we never ended up catching up with him. But, that's hunting, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were averaging right around 2,000 feet every day we were climbing.
Yeah. What's the elevation here?
Here we're like 40, 45 here.
Right.
And we were starting from about 47 up there.
You said we climbed
67.
About. Yeah, you said about 2,000 feet a couple different days to the peak.
Like the big day where we followed where they went up. Yeah. That was just over 2,000.
That's crazy. Yeah, and
through boulders and shale.
To wake up and look out the tent and then know the first step you take is all uphill.
Yeah.
Psychologically messes you up. Oh, my like I said in the beginning, I mean, my legs and my feet are aching right now, but it was still, that's what makes the hunt memorable, really.
Yeah. Yeah, the lows make the high higher.
Yeah, and really we started off after that first day, we kind of regrouped and we're like, you know what, if Nicole's she had a Caribou tag, and I did as well, and I'm like, if we're going to get 2 caribou on the ground, we should probably focus on them. So that's what we did. We Lee flew us out to a spot they call Hope, a big flat area, and you can see a long ways there. And I'd hunt. That's where I shot my sheep 2 years ago. Is in that general vicinity, and we flew out there. Of course, we camped overnight, and then started hunting the following day, and we started seeing caribou right off the bat.
Oh, we got lucky. Like after we set up, they just started coming over the ridge.
I know, it's
feeding
like
towards camp.
And the caribou are migrators up here. I mean, there's some locals, but they just move all the time. They're just kind of nomadic.
Yeah,
right?
Very sporadic. Like they're so hard to pattern because you never really know what they're gonna do.
And you just never know the next day when you wake up and look out your tent what new caribou is going to be in front of you.
Absolutely. At any point, you could step out and there's just one.
Yeah.
That you've never seen before.
That's what I like about caribou hunting up here. So like the first day we landed, put up the tents, and that night I remember like when we're just about ready to go to bed, you look up and like, oh, here comes a big one, and you're like, we'd shoot that one.
Yeah. And
of course Nicole, being here a short period of time, is like, I'm up first, so we're like, yeah, that'd be a good bull to go after. So
we had him at 800 yards that night. Like we got a really good look.
Got a good look at
down
him
that hill.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was rubbed out. He wasn't in velvet anymore.
The only one.
Right. So yeah, we decided that would be a good caribou the next morning to kind of go after, and Nicole and I it was starting to get daylight the next morning, and we were woke up by Cole saying, "Get up! I can see him. He's
Get your stuff right now. He's at 450."
Yeah, he was. Close to the tent, almost in shooting range. So we had to do a mad scramble. Just we didn't have time to get a coffee or nothing, and like jumped out of the tent, got our stuff on, got Aaron, the cameraman, going, and we were off to the races across this big flat, and kind of keeping the little drainages between us, so we're kind of staying out of his view. He kind of dropped over into a creek bottom there, and we just put the stock on him and got up to a couple hundred yards.
Yeah, we were 277, I think, when we set up the first time.
You know what was cool, and I've never seen this before.
Yeah,
is when we were set up there on that when we first seen him, he was licking on a caribou shed.
He full on had it in his mouth. He was flipping it up in the air
like a dog.
Yeah, like I've never seen him do. It's wild.
That is cool because unless you didn't have it on video, nobody'd believe you.
Oh,
right?
I wouldn't have believed you until I saw it.
So and then we're still like, what, let's try to get a little closer. So he kind of went behind a bank there and got out of our view, and we used the hill, and we stalked up to what?
He was when we first saw him, he was right on 100. He was like 101.
Oh yeah, he was pretty close.
Yeah.
So Nicole, she got down on a knee and got ready, and the caribou just gave her a good shot. And
I was over there playing caribou with the shed on my head.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. This guy is walking around looking like a caribou, carrying this shed antler, which there is shed antlers laying everywhere.
Oh, littered.
If you're a shed fanatic, this is like, you die and go to heaven up here, because there's literally, like, everywhere you look, like a white shed antler laying
like
out
every
on the
300 yards.
It's crazy. So he just picks one up on the way to on the stalk, and like, oh, I'll just pretend I'm a caribou, and it worked because we got close, and he just stood there kind of watching us.
Yeah.
And Nicole got down on the bog pod and got steady and let it eat, and drilled him. Then these things take some lead. She shot him with the new Browning X-Bolt 6.5 Creedmoor was the round, and it just hammered him, and he didn't go anywhere. He didn't run off or nothing.
She put 2 into his front shoulder.
Yep, and then he was down, and And of course, then the real work began. So she was pretty pumped because it was a beautiful caribou, and we got over there, and of course, started quartering them up, and you gotta cut them up right there. You don't haul them back to camp. We debone the meat right there, and put it in our Tenzing packs, and it's a lot of work. And you caped him off, and we just sat there and enjoyed the day. It was awesome.
We had a really great vantage point from where we were sitting to see another caribou.
Yeah, and
was the other thing. Yeah, so I mean, it worked out really well. We couldn't have scripted that hunt much better that morning.
It was sweet, and how it all kind of unfolded. So, yeah, that first hunt went off just like textbook. And then
perfect.
We carried later on that day. We loaded up, and we had to carry, of course, the meat all the way back to camp, and we didn't carry it all the way to camp. We dropped it a couple 100 yards shy of our camp because there's grizzly bears
everywhere.
Yeah, I can't believe how there's so many bears in this country. But for those who don't know, in the Northwest Territories, you cannot shoot grizzlies. It's off limits here.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate. So that's why you see a lot, and they're bold and aggressive, right?
Oh,
and hungry.
Definitely can be, yeah.
Especially this year, I heard that, you guys said that there's no berry crop really, so they're extra hungry.
Yeah. Well, you saw that hole when we were hiking back.
Yeah.
That hole that the bear dug. It must have been the size of this table. He's just throwing boulders out of there.
Looking for a gopher.
Yeah, eating gophers.
I like how you said that. Like, how would you like to dig that hole through all that rock just for a gopher?
Yeah.
A snack.
Yeah, for one bite.
Yeah, that's funny. So that was the end of day 2, and we had a caribou on the ground and kind of feeling a little less pressure because, Nicole's tag was filled. So the next morning we woke up and started course glassing again, and seen some caribou, but nothing big. And I told Cole here, I said, listen, the caribou I'm going to shoot has to be bigger than Nicole's.
The bar's been set.
Yeah. And hers was nice, for sure. Nice tops and nice bezzes and
that
stuff.
non-typical point.
Yeah, that was cool. So we started looking at these caribou, and
was it the second morning we saw the bears chasing them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to mention that. We're watching the caribou from camp, and there's a whole group of them that kind of come kind of where Nicole's was the day before, and they're up on a kind of a side hill above camp, and we're glassing them, and all of a sudden Cole's like, there's something chasing those caribou, because they kind of just ran up the hill quick.
Oh, just straight, lined out.
And we were just getting ready to go for the day anyways, and start our hiking and go and kind of check out a new area, and all of a sudden, like right below the caribou, here comes 2 grizzlies. And one was, they're both beautiful.
Oh,
big blonde grizzlies,
gorgeous
and one
bears.
was beautiful. I'm like, oh my gosh. And the darn caribou, being caribou, took off kind of running downhill at them a little bit, and then the chase was on.
Oh, I can't believe we didn't see one get hammered.
I know.
It looked like those bears had them dead.
Yeah, because they had them kind of cut off.
Yeah.
But those caribou wanted to go to the other side, get kind of a ditch or a big valley in between them. So, yeah, they were headed to the other mountain, and then, obviously they didn't catch him because we saw the bears come back. And,
yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool to see, but a little bit sketchy because we were camped there.
Same thing. They're only 700 yards from our camp. We got a pair of grizzlies.
I know.
And meat on the ground.
Right. And we smell like a caribou at that point. So, yeah, after that, later that day, we decided to hike up through a saddle. And, of course, it's a lot of walking. And we got up into a high vantage point, come around the other backside of the mountain we're camped on, and sat down and started glassing. And Cole's like, hey, what's that way across this big valley out on the end of one of these ridges? And there was like 3 caribou there, 3 bulls.
Yeah, you spotted those ones, because I was looking at the ones all down on the flat.
I was going to give you credit on that.
I know, I appreciate that, but like to tell an accurate story. You had them.
Yeah, I spotted them over there. I'm like, I didn't know if they were shooters or not, but I could see they're pretty good-sized bulls.
Well, the spot they were at, as soon as you said where they were, like, that's a bull caribou spot.
Just natural kind of way out of the way?
A high, just a little tiny cut up high. They got a vantage.
Kind of like a sheep spot.
It was. Yeah.
So we put the scope on him and started looking at him. He's like, yeah, man, that one's a cranker.
Started making moose sounds.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, holy smokes. We gotta go after this caribou. And it's like, it's probably
2 miles?
It's mid-afternoon already.
Yeah, it was.
So he's like, let's go. And down across the valley we go, and down through a real steep cut, and then we had to do a vertical climb. We get all the way up to the top, and we're starting to get close to the caribou, where we think they are. And we crest the top, get our stuff ready with the camera and the gun off the pack and everything, and come over the top, and he's like, oh, they're running downhill. They must have smelled us or heard us.
Our wind was so good. We had that quartering wind coming over the top, and when we got to the top, it was just every direction. There was no way you could. Yeah. And, I mean, we were committed at that point.
I know.
That was the only way we could have got at them.
Yeah, so, I mean, then they kind of circled around the mountain and came below us as they ran around the entire mountain, and they had to come through a cut, and they were at 500, and I'm like, okay, if they stop, I'm going to try to shoot, and never stopped. I mean, they
didn't even think about stopping.
They poured the coals to it.
Yeah.
No pun intended. They took off, and we watched them go out of sight, like a couple miles away. And then we saw 2 of them like climb the other mountain side and keep going all the way to the top.
And they were still running up that, like they were galloping up that hill.
Yeah, I mean, they were spooked. And but the biggest one, the one that was in velvet, he was not with them all of a sudden. He had split off, and we're like, what the world? So we were sitting there, and we got a little camp Jay here. He's going to be our friend and come behind us here.
Sammy.
Maybe somebody who's watching can see the stuff that's hanging out here. Anyways, the one that we really wanted was not with him, so we're like, where did he go? And he still was, we thought, on our side. So we started after him in that direction.
Well, he crested back over.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We saw him.
And I've seen him do that before.
Kind of came back in our direction.
The big bull just split off and do his own thing. It seems to make him feel a lot safer.
Right. Yeah, because they don't want to be in that same group, and so he was still on our side, but a long ways away. And we watched him feed for a while, and eventually kind of turned and went over the hill, over the rise, so he was out of sight. And then the chase was on. We were down across, putting on miles, crossing some shale slides and stuff, and I remember, like, we're going along the side there, and all of a sudden it just starts pouring. And I mean, we're trying to find him, but we're not seeing him anywhere. And we're like, did he keep going around the mountain or what? And it starts raining, and it starts raining hard.
Oh yeah, driving sleet.
And all of a sudden, Nicole yells, "What?" Says to Cole,
is that the one?
Is that him down there? He's down to our left, down kind of in the drainage. And you just see the top of his rack, and he puts his scope up, and he's like, "That's him, and he's within shooting range.
Yeah, he was 220 yards at that point.
Yeah,
something right in there.
And it's pouring rain. The camera stuff is getting wet. We just
nobody has rain gear on.
No, we're not prepared for it, and we're grabbing our stuff. I'm trying to put the bog pod down and get steady and keep the scope cleaned off from the rain, and I'm all over the place, and finally I kind of start getting steady. And just as I'm going to squeeze, he takes off and runs down through the gully, because these cows came and kind of, I don't know if he's following them or what. And
yeah, definitely.
He comes out of the gully, but he's facing away, kind of climbing up the bank on the opposite side. And I'm like, my crosses are still all over the place. And finally, I start getting steady on him. And
he just wouldn't present a shot. He was walking dead away from us the whole time.
I know.
And the cows are just broadside.
And finally, turns and he gives us a fairly good broadside, and I let it eat, and I just dump him. And I mean, there's no better feeling than all of a sudden
when he just threw his head back and hit the dirt.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I think we all felt that shudder. Yeah.
We celebrated him like, that's a stud, and we were all really pumped up because now, I mean, we know we have 2 big caribou on the ground, and then we walk over there, and there's not many critters that I get to that get bigger as you get closer, but this one definitely did. He was more massive than I thought, and just big tops and full velvet, which was really
that
cool.
Nice silver velvet up top.
Yeah, we stripped the velvet off him now because you can't preserve it because it's just not the right place to do that.
No, yeah, we're not
no
quite.
Freezers here.
No,
so I'll have Canol, who does all of our taxidermy stuff, PA. I'll have them put velvet back on it, which would be cool.
And he'll look at the pictures, color match it. It'll look better.
But that hunt I'll never forget. I mean, it was a stud. Made a heck of a shot with the Browning.
Yeah.
6.58. What was it, like 300?
Yeah, you were. I think it was 303 when you shot.
Just dumped him, and when we were cutting him up, you're like, man, this bullet just devastates. It goes in there.
Gel.
It shocks everything. And we're using Browning ammo on that too, and it just dumped him, and it was awesome. So, then of course now we're fighting a light issue and trying to.
It was late.
We're so far from camp. We're like, if we can get this thing cut up in a quick hurry, we can get Lee to come in here with the chopper, pick up all the meat, horns, cape, and stuff, and fly it back, and then pick us up and fly us all the way back to base camp and get our gear from our spike camp and try to get back to sleep in a little warmer environment with a hot shower and food. And so we were doing everything we could. I pulled out the other edge and just started hacking.
Oh man. we did good.
Yeah, we had that thing
half an hour, 27 minutes.
Yeah, we just diced them up. And here come Lee and help sling him, which is pretty cool to watch.
It's so cool to watch those horns fly out the valley.
Yeah, I was a little nervous when you put your beautiful caribou horns in a net up to a cable, and off it goes with the meat. But it made it back fine, and that was neat to see because I hadn't been ever with him when he slung something before. So we got back that night, got everything wrapped up, and Nicole was pretty much checked out of the hunt at that point. She's like, I'm finished. She only had one more day to stick around, and then we were gonna head out sheep hunting, and then she was staying here at base camp and flying out the next day to head home. So that's what the plan was. Next morning we got up and kind of got our stuff together that day and got ready for the sheep hunt the following day. So day 6 we started sheep hunting again, and going back up the same range we did the first day, looking for that ram that we had the history with. And we did something kind of crazy. Instead of getting a helicopter to take all our gear up there and drop us off, we decided to walk all the way up there. Not by my choice, but by Glenda. She likes torturing me.
Gotta make you earn it.
Yeah, and we earned it. I mean, we walked about 5 miles up the drainage. Glenn helped, and we carried all of our, our camping stuff up there, tents, our food, all our hunting gear, and set up our tents on a bench that we could kind of see up 2 different valley systems. And, we're just hanging out there after we got our tents set up, and took a little bit of a quick nap.
Yeah.
And
well-deserved nap.
Yeah, right. 'Cause we're beat from walking all the way up that big drainage and all that rock, and all of a sudden you come out of the tent. You're like, "Hey, you seen any sheep yet?" And Aaron's like, "Nope." And about a second later, he goes, "Rams." And I'm thinking he's pulling my leg because I'm like,
I thought
no way he can say no, and then Rams like seconds later.
That simultaneously.
And he was looking right over the top of my tent, and here's 2 rams coming right over a low ridge at the same level we were. And we're like, no way. And I'm thinking, well, they can't be big ones. because they're so close.
It's
and
too
so
easy.
Yeah, it's too easy. So we throw the spotting scope up, and one was a young ram, and the other one was a giant. And I'm like, is that him? And we're like trying to identify. I'm like, you know what? If it isn't him, I don't care. It's still big enough.
Yeah. He was a really mature ram.
And he was broomed on his left side, but his other right side just big sweeping curl, heavy all the way
Dark
through.
horned.
Yeah, his body was massive.
Oh, yeah, he had a big pot belly on him and a swayed back.
Yep. And I'm like, let's go. And so we dive off and down into the creek bottom, and he's feeding along the side hill. And we get down in the creek bottom, and we had about 200 yards to kind of close.
Yeah.
And we get up around, just coming around the corner, and we tested the wind once, and it seemed pretty decent for us, so we weren't going to blow them out of there. And we come around the corner, and there's Ram standing on the bank about, you said what, 300?
340 when we first saw him.
He's like at 340, he's like, there he is. And so, both Aaron and I just hit the deck. Aaron gets the camera ready. I throw down the bog pod right in the creek, in the water. I'm laying on these rocks. And I got steady up. I'm like, my crosshairs are on him, and I'm just waiting to squeeze the trigger. And all of a sudden, Aaron's like, wait. And thank God for that little wait.
Yeah.
Because
peek back out.
All of a sudden, you peek back out, and you're like, I don't think that's a ram.
That's not the ram.
And I'm ready to all of a sudden somebody say, shoot him. And then I start looking at him through the scope. I'm like, that's not him.
Definitely
that's
not.
The heavy one. And it's the younger one, and he's standing there right broadside,
perfect shot.
And the big one's nowhere to be seen, and the little one's looking down in the creek, probably at him, but we can't see the bottom because the way the creek bottom drainage, bent around the corner. He must have been down in that bottom, and our wind must have been blowing at that moment up that creek bottom, and next thing we know, them sheep were off to the races. And that little one dove off there, and the next time we seen the big one, he was going up a shale slide, and he was chewing up country.
Oh my God, he was covering ground.
Just lunging.
Oh yeah, he was driving with all four.
And he was clearing the mountain, and there was no way, no shape, form how we were going to catch up with him.
No.
So we just watched him clear the top that night. And went back to our tents, licking our wounds, and how did that just happen? And we didn't get that ram shot.
So close.
So the next day we went looking for him. It was foggy in the morning, so it kind of fogged us out right away early. And we climbed up this gigantic mountain that vertical, and it was raining and nasty weather, and got all the way to the top. Took 6 hours.
Yeah.
6 hours from the bottom.
The tent to the top.
Imagine walking. It's 6 straight vertical. I mean, we were climbing 2,000 feet.
Yeah.
Climbed
all rock.
All rock. It's loose. Some of it's loose rock. It's treacherous climbing. It's not easy. We get all the way to the top, and it's it's windy and raining and it's sleeting. And we look over the other side, expecting to maybe see the ram where they went, and instead it's this giant fog bank closing in, and you can see not even 20 yards on the other side.
Just a wall of weather.
Talk about depressing.
Oh my God, that was a breaker.
We just stood there defeated.
Yeah.
It was bad. Oh my God. I felt like, my cameraman, I had some special quotes from him. He gave us one right then and there. He's like, why would anybody pay to go sheep hunting? This is crazy.
This is dumb.
This is dumb. And I'm like, I started actually feeling the same way at that point. Now that you mention it, yeah, it is kind of crazy.
What are we doing up here?
Oh, yeah, just to climb all that way, put all that effort in, just to turn around and walk all the way back to the tents, which isn't an easy proposition anyways. We had to shale slide or surf down a shale slide and walk through the slippery rocks all the way home, and we got back that night about 10:30 at our tents at dark.
Yeah.
Beat. Spent soaking wet from sweat and from rain, crawled, like, had a mountain house where, basically it's just, food in a bag where you pour water in it and it rehydrates itself. Not the best meal by any means.
You barely even taste it, you're eating so fast.
I know, just crawled in. Yeah, this guy eats 2 mountain houses a day every night. That's crazy, and he's as small as he is. So we crawl in the tent, soaking wet, frozen. I know it sounds miserable, but that's part of the sheep hunting experience, right?
Somehow we're still smiling.
Yeah. I crawl in my bag, and these guys were giving me crap because the tent we just bought this year, it's like the Taj Mahal. So there's plenty of room after Nicole's gone.
The Hilleberg Hilton.
Yeah. So we stayed in that, or I slept in that, and I had to sleep in my wet clothes in my sleeping bag to help dry them out. I did that several times this week.
Oh, that's the only way.
Yeah, no other way, because it's so damp and moist out there. There's just no way to, dry your stuff out. You can't hang it up.
Yeah, because it's going to rain again.
And there's just so much moisture. So, yeah, just crawling in the sleeping bag in wet clothes. Never changed my socks. I couldn't even, by the end of this last week, I couldn't even stand myself. I was so stinky.
Yeah.
Today's the first day I got a shower. And you still haven't got one. I still smell you.
Yeah. I was close. I was like this close to having a shower.
So, yeah, we're defeated that day. The next day we wake up again to fog, and so we can't go anywhere.
And rain. It rained hard.
And I don't think we could have went even if it was a bluebird day, because we're so stiff and sore from that climb. And so we decided to wait, and what did we do that next day?
That was the day we moved camp?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we walked up that drainage.
Oh, yeah, we checked it the first day, and then we moved camp.
Yeah, we decided to go up the other fork and look up, try to get around the backside of where them rams were and kind of check out some new country. And we got up there and glassed and didn't see much, but we did find a good camping spot up there that we could may possibly move our camp. So kind of put that in, and it was like a couple miles away up the drainage. So the following day, that's when we moved camp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went back and packed all our camp up on our backs, about 100, I think my pack is close to 100 pounds, and moved our spike camp up to this little plateau where we could get closer to the mountain, so we didn't get all wore out before we even got to it.
Yeah, we woke up and we were in the game up there.
Yeah, and he could have
popped up anywhere.
So then that next morning after we got everything, so we kind of spent the day just kind of not even hunting, just moving our camp and stuff. So that following morning we woke up and we instantly started climbing to the top, which was straight up vertical through rock cliffs and stuff. I was nervous as a cat on a hot tin roof because I hate heights. And man, we climbed, and it took us how many hours to get up there? 3 or 4, right?
Yeah, I think we were 4 hours to where we were peeking over.
We climbed to the top of the world, and I couldn't even look over the top. When we got up there, it was super cliffy.
Just a razorback.
Oh, I know. He's up on a jagged, pointed edge, looking over a sheer drop off, and I couldn't even peek over it. It just gave me vertigo. So I just stood back there and I let these guys look over, and we seen some rams. There was 4 below us, and we were thinking, oh, is that him? And it turns out it was some young rams.
Yeah.
There was one nice one in there, but he's only 7.
Yeah, good genetics, but just too young.
Beautiful ram. Most people would shoot that ram every day of the week.
Yeah.
Because, he's just beautiful curl, dark horn, but he was just thin.
Didn't carry his mass enough.
Gonna be a good ram.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It still wasn't the ram that we came for.
No.
And wasn't the one that we spooked out of the country the first night there. So we kept looking, and we glassed, and we stayed there all day on that peak. And I saw one other young ram, which was, we figured, the same young ram that was with the big one that first night. And we're like, the big one's got to be there. And we studied that area and sat there forever, and he never showed himself, and we're like, he was just being a ram, right?
Yeah, doing old ram stuff.
So we, of course, then at dark or close to dark, started going back down towards their tents, and I don't know what's harder, going up or down in this country.
They're definitely different. Your legs burn going up, but your knees feel it on the way down.
It's shaly and really, rocky.
That first part with the granite,
it
was
tough.
hard to get down.
Yeah, you gotta really watch your step up here. And then we finally got to the creek bottom, which was still tricky. We had to throw on our stream lights and our headlamps and get down the creek bottom, which is slippery and slick because of the water, and it had some moss on the rocks. But we finally got back to camp, of course, in the dark.
Almost cliffed out. When we got to that one tight spot, I'm like, oh my God, if we have to go around this.
Yeah, and then you have to climb back up and go around.
That would have been a crusher.
We finally got in a good position and got back to the tents that night, beat, tired. All to think, get to go do it again. So the next morning, which is now what day? I don't even know what day it is.
Oh, that would have been after that day.
7, 8.
9?
We can't even tell what day it is at this
They
point.
kind of start to blend together.
Yeah.
Just big heights and long nights.
So, yeah, after that big climb to that vertical peak, we decided we had to go and look in a different spot. So, we woke up the next morning, and the 4 young rams are now above camp and had come over onto our side, but no sign of the big one. So, is this yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, now we're down to the last day.
Yeah.
And still haven't found it. So we're like, this big ram has got to be in this one little drainage or up where we kind of climbed from. So we decided to go up through a different creek drainage, and we got up there and we saw a young ram, that same 6-year-old ram that was with the big one, but no sign of the big one again.
Still holding our breath. We thought for sure he was going to be in that cut somewhere.
Yeah. And it was always so much false hope this week. It's like, there's a shooter. And then you look at him and like, no, it's not a shooter. It's too young. And we climbed all the way up again to the top, and we got up there and hoping to see, on the last day, the last hour, the big one, and it just didn't develop. There was nothing there besides a ewe and a lamb.
Yeah. No, we were hoping for the old Cinderella story, but...
Man, and at that point you feel defeated, but it was still, you're standing on top of a mountain just admiring, and thinking about the last week and a half that we had spending it up here chasing these critters in such a cool environment.
Yeah.
It's just so neat. And I always tell people a lot of times it isn't about the animal you harvest that you remember. It's about the adventure, whether it's tough, whether it's it's about the storyboard or whatever that you went through. The
They're
thoughts
the hunts you remember.
Yeah, the thoughts of your cameraman saying this is dumb. It's all that kind of thing that kind of comes together. And we walked off the mountain that day. I felt, which was yesterday, I felt satisfied that we had a great hunt, even though I did not put my tag on a ram. Those rams, I'll be here next year.
Yeah, we gave it ample effort.
Right.
It's not from lack of trying.
It was nice to see Lee after we got to the tents. See Lee come in and pick us up. So we didn't have to walk all the way back to camp with the tents on our back, and all our gear. But got back here, and I want to thank you, man. We had so much of a fun time up here.
Oh, we had a great time.
Yeah, it's again, it's about the memories and the adventure that you make. And
that fox that we saw.
Oh yeah,
that was
this
really
guy's
cool.
been. One thing, if you ever come up here and hunt, and you get lucky enough to have this little, I call him
the pika.
Yeah, he's like a little rodent. He buzzes around on the rocks in and out. So there's a little rabbit like creature that lives in these rocks. It looks like a gopher with no tail, and they're pikas. And they fly around here so much that I told him he reminds me of a pika. So he started making the pika noises, and we started calling him pika. So you can use that.
That one's going to stick for sure.
Yeah, and he's always looking down, not looking for sheep, because he's looking for fossils, which he did find 3 cool fossils. That was pretty awesome. And we had fun, man. It was a blast hunting with you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. I had a great time out here.
And we got 2 big caribou on the ground.
And that's what it was about. Yeah, I mean, still a successful hunt. We didn't get the ram, but two great caribou, and we had fun every day. Even when it was raining and our backs were sore, feet were sore, still managed to smile through it.
Man, yeah, it's
and that makes a difference. I mean, that's what keeps a guy going every day.
Right.
You know, if you start getting down on yourself, and it's mentality that conquers these mountains, not muscle.
No doubt. What's up next? We're leaving today. We're getting on the plane out of here. I'm going back to Minnesota. We're home for one day. We're heading to Kentucky, chasing elk out there again for the 2nd year in a row. And where are you going?
I'm going. The plan's kind of fluid at this point. Going to be sheep hunting somewhere with a caribou tag as well.
And then you got moose hunters coming.
Yeah, and then one moose hunt after that. My next hunter is going to have a moose tag, but he's not super jazzed on killing one, so it'll probably just be a sheep caribou combo and then going into a moose caribou.
And you got some huge moose up here too.
Oh, some real giants.
World class, not only world class sheep. I mean, the genetics here are unbelievable for Dall sheep. But
good management.
Monster mountain caribou like you've seen us get again for the 3rd year in a row. And of course there's grizzlies, but you can't shoot them. And then giant moose. I mean, so if you're ever looking like for a combo hunt, this is a great place to come, because you can get multiple tags and hunt multiple species on these combo hunts and have a hunt of a lifetime. Hopefully you don't have to do as much climbing. I mean, you got to be in sheep shape to go up some of these hills, but if I can make it, I tell anybody they can do it for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, man, hey, great chatting with you, talking about this last couple weeks up here, and I can't wait till the next time we get to go hunting together, buddy.
Oh, me too.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. It was a great time, Pat.
Well, we're signing off here at Canol Outfitters and NWT.